What's up guys? Welcome back to Watch Chris. I am Chris. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, checking out some of my videos, and of course hitting that bell icon. Today, we're doing a review of a brand that I've never featured here on my channel. You guys know I love to bring new brands to the channel on a very regular basis. This is a brand called Nullarbor, and this is their Terrain. It sort of looks like an homage to a very popular dive watch. However, it's actually a field watch. This gets a bi-directional 120 click bezel with a couple of different features on it, and you can only get this with a white dial currently. So let's flip the camera and take a look at a very nicely sized, very handsome watch from a new brand called Nullarbor. Okay, so here are the two watches. These are called the Terrain from the brand Nullarbor. And there are two different dial colors here, technically. So both of them basically are white dialed watches. However, they are sandwich dials, and that sandwich portion, those indices, you have stick indices and then the primary indices, those are in green and blue. So this is the green variant, this is the blue variant. Also, the bezels are in green and blue on each one of those variants. It's a very interesting concept, so I think they're only making white dial versions. However, the colors depend on those sandwiches. This is on a green rubber strap. This is on the bracelet that they'll be selling this on. I believe you get the bracelet. The green rubber straps are extra. I think they're like 15 bucks, which is really almost nothing. This is technically a field watch, I believe. I'm not sure if that's how they're actually marketing it. It gets 100 meters of water resistance. It's pretty thin. I think it's a really good contender for an everyday watch. You are getting a compass bezel on this. So that's why I would say these are more of a field watch than they are a dive watch, and you only get 100 meters of water resistance, which is sufficient for every day. A compass bezel is very easy to use. I've made a video about it in the past. They are very easy to use, and if you are an avid hiker, it's probably something that you probably should have with you just in case. However, it may not be very useful for everyday use, but I think they look cool. So you have that north, south, east, and west on there, but they also put a 15-minute countdown, so you can use this as a bezel if you want for timing something, 15 minutes, which is not that bad, and you could really use the bezel for almost anything if you really wanted to. You do get a boxed sapphire crystal on here, and like I said, these are thin. I think these are heavily inspired by the Seamaster. I'm talking about the Seamaster 300 Heritage. You could see that in the case. You can even see that in the hands, of course. You have these broad arrow hands here, so you have a dagger for the minute, and then for the hour you have an arrow. It's very similar, but not exactly the same as what you would get from a Seamaster, a Heritage Seamaster, or a Vintage Seamaster. The case itself, though, looks pretty similar to those watches. It's under 40 millimeters, so 39.4 millimeters at that bezel, including that sapphire crystal, which is boxed and domed. It's around 12.7 millimeters. The crown is just about 5.9 millimeters, and the lug to lug is just about 46.5 millimeters. And you do get to see the Miyota movement from the back. I believe this is a sapphire crystal back. It is a Miyota 9039, and it has a custom rotor. And what they did here is a true custom rotor. It's unlike what you normally see from a lot of brands who just take the existing rotor and etch their logo into it. This is actually a fully custom rotor, and it's also gold tone. It looks really good. You have a screwed-in case back, and like I said, 100 meters of water resistance. This is on the green strap with the green bezel and green indices. This is the blue version. This is on their bracelet. They say this is on a Jubilee style bracelet. I would not say this is a Jubilee style bracelet. It looks a little bit different from a Jubilee. It's a good looking bracelet. You have these lines of polish that come down the center. It tapers really nicely. It has a very small clasp. The clasp is very small, and you only have 2 positions of micro adjust. That's not terrible, but you might have a little bit of a problem getting this on your wrist if you have very big hands, but other than that, I don't see a problem with it. It sort of reminds me of a vintage buckle, and it is signed right there. So it's in keeping with the style of the watch, so it definitely does work. Let's listen to the bezel action. There you go. Bezel sounds really nice. It's exactly the same as the green version, so very, very similar bezel actions on both of these watches. The only difference is obviously the color. You do have a signed crown, and the crown is signed with their logo as well. I think they're charging at around $500 for this watch. It comes with a cork travel case and it comes on the bracelet. I think that's a pretty decent price, $500. I think anything more than that would be a little bit too much. But if you like the style of this watch and the inspiration behind it, I think it's actually a decent price. I'm going to throw both of these on my wrist and then we will do a lume shot. Today on my wrist, I have an Urwerk 103. Video coming out for this later in the month. A huge purchase for me, and I'm very, very excited about it. And there is the green version on my 7.5 inch wrist on the green strap. I think this looks really good on a strap, and I think it looks really good on the bracelet as well. And there's the blue version on the bracelet, again, just under 40 millimeters. I have a 7.5 inch wrist, and this is just over 12 millimeters thick. So a pleasant surprise, the bezels are lumed, so that is really nice to see, and all of the sandwich portion is obviously lumed, and the hands are lumed pretty liberally with, I believe they're using C3 Superluminova. The only thing is that the second hand is not lumed. That needle second hand doesn't have any space for lume. I wish there was a little bit of lume. I like to see that my watch is working in the dark again. I always say that is my own personal thing. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. What do you think of these watches? What do you think of this brand and the style that they've chosen to go with? Obviously not an homage to the Seamaster, but a call out to it, and they made it a field watch, which kind of makes sense. It looks good as a field watch, kind of like the Railmaster. So guys, tell me what you think down in the comments below. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.